let's get into our picks. As always, before we do that, we have to recap the week before. This is Rob's favorite part.
Oh yeah, don't worry, it'll be my favorite part in a couple weeks.
As I won the Monday night game, as we talked about in yesterday's episode, so therefore I pulled ahead even more. So we had, let me, all trash talk aside, because I'm just messing with you. We had a freaking crusher week on this show, guys. Absolute crusher week. Like, this is the week that if you are listening and you use our bets, you'd be very happy with yourself. Like, thank God. And it'd also be a good time maybe to send a super chat through YouTube or a star through Facebook to thank us for the picks. So, of the 14 games, guys, 14 games, because you got 4 teams on the bye week, I had 12 of them right. Rob had 10 of them right. I may have beat him, but 10 is nothing to sniff at. That's like, that's better than 2/3. Yeah. That's 71% and change. I think most people take that kind of betting reaction there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, especially there's a few of those games where we talked about we would not bet. And
yes. Apparently we should have.
Yeah. Well, some of this are the ones we lost.
Yeah, well, the Giants was the big one. You and I both had the Giants to win. So, over unders again, 12 games. Sorry, go ahead, 14 games. Sorry, I got 10 of them right. He got 8 of them right. So both of us over 50%. I'll take it. Anytime you're over 50% in betting, in spreads, like you expect a higher percentage in the overall winner, but in spreads, anytime you're over 50%, you're doing good. Over unders. I had 9. You had 8. Again, over 50%. I'll take this every single week if we can do that. And then you and I both had 5 of the trifecta picks, meaning we got the winner, the spread pick, and the over under on the same exact game.
And we talked about being the best bets.
Yeah. And I mean, again, that's week 6. I got 21 for the year. For the season, you got 15. So it's like that's a high percentage for the week at that point. It's much more we usually get. So, like I said, I'm pretty proud of us here with that week 6 pick here. We'll see if week 7 hopefully is just as fruitful. But yeah, I got
a lot of different games. So
I got 36 points on the week. You got 31. So that gives me another 5 additional points, putting us out for the season. I'm at 169. You're at 157. So I got a 12-point lead now.
Don't worry, this week it's going to be the catch-up week.
Cats up. We already decided it's called Cats up.
Cats up.
Cats up. So we got another 14 game season. That's another 14 game week. Yeah, not a season. Because of course we do have the the bye weeks still going on.
Yeah,
a long day at work, guys. So let's get into the first game where we travel back to jolly old London, where the Jaguars have been waiting. Now, are there any Jaguars in England? Like, that just seems weird. Like, there's no Jaguars in England.
There's no big cats in England.
Then again, there's no Jaguars in Jacksonville. They're called Cougars there, just like Buenos Aires and Red Bank.
I was about to say.
I didn't hear to say it, so I had to say it. Oh my god!
Although they did find a cougar apparently in northwest Jersey earlier this week.
Did they?
And not the fun kind in Buenos Aires, but the actual big cat.
Yeah, and not a panther or a jaguar.
I was about to say Panthers are technically just jaguars, just all black.
Are they?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay, no, the Florida Panther is a thing. So, okay, then there is a jaguar. I thought it was a different type of cat.
Technically, it's the same animal. It's just the way the coat is laid.
Okay, we're gonna look that up because are there jaguars in Jacksonville? I'm looking it up. Yeah, let's see here. Are there jaguars? Okay, I said, are there Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida? It comes up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a professional American football team. Stop it! Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, let's get to the actual game here. The Jaguars are still in London. It's technically a home game for them. They got the Patriots coming into town, which just seems weird. It just seems a little weird. Like if there is an NFL team in London full time, because they keep talking about doing it. In fact, they were talking this week about doing a Super Bowl even in Europe or somewhere overseas. Can you imagine if the Patriots come into town? The Patriots are going into London. It's like a weird version of like the Revolutionary War all over again. It just doesn't. It's not going to seem right. Like what do you call them? Like the London Redcoats too. Like you got the Patriots versus the Redcoats. Like oh, it'd be spectacular.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you got the Jaguars technically at home against the Patriots. Patriots are a 5.5 point underdog. They're not being very well thought of in this game whatsoever. And you got a 42.5 over under. Rob, who you got?
Oh, this is a tough one for me to pick at first because Chip Chop Jolly Good Old London. I talked about last week. Those Jags, man,
Bad.
they're terrible, but they were undefeated in London. They were a good team playing in London.
No place like London.
And they got spanked in London. So I'm going to take the Patriots, who's going to start Drake May, who came out and played pretty well against a decent team. Now that he's going to go up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the 32nd ranked secondary in all of the NFL, which, true, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so they're last place in the secondary.
Yeah.
And you got this young quarterback who's could put up some points. And I think it's going to be a little explosive for him. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to go in the over just because there's going to be no real defense in this game. And I think the Jaguars are going to cover the spread with the 5.5 points.
So we're kind of similar, except me and you are flip-flopping the teams. I got the Jaguars to win this, actually. And I got the Patriots to cover. I don't trust rookie quarterbacks to win early on in their career. I just don't, because it usually doesn't happen.
No.
But then you throw into the fact that this is brand new for this kid. He's got to go over to London, which I know people are, it's just right across the water. It's not that much different than going to
across
Seattle.
the pond.
But it's still, it's a culture, kind of shock there, so to speak. It's a very exciting time. It's hard to focus on the game itself at that point. Like all that stuff is going on. So I just think that the Jaguars, who are used to playing over there, because they play there a couple times a year, I think the Jaguars are used to it, and the Jaguars will excel because of it. I actually think, even though it sucks for their fans that they have to, have two games over in London every single week, both of them are very upset, I'm sure. But the Jacksonville Jaguars get a chance to get a little bit of an advantage because they're used to doing this. And I think the advantage comes out this week. So I got the Jags to win. Patriots to cover the spread, though. And I'm with you on the over. So we'll see. This could be a deciding factor for us in who wins this week. So that just tells you guys it's going to be the Jaguars to win. I'm a jerk.
Touche. Well, up next, when we come back to America, we're going to go to Atlanta, where they're hosting the Seahawks.
Living in America.
America
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, little Rammstein.
Well, you got the Falcons hosting the Seahawks in this game. The Falcons are giving up 3 points in this game, and the over-under is 51 points. Joe, how you feel about this game?
I feel absolutely spectacular about this game because this is actually one of my games of the week. I would take this one all day long. Falcons to win. Falcons to go ahead and cover the 3-point spread. And the over. This is a team the Giants put almost 30 points on. And that was just a couple weeks ago. They're still getting over injuries and all. And that means the Falcons, who are, I think, a better offense than the Giants, I don't think that's a stretch to say, there's a PB football team or two with probably a better offense than the Giants.
Maybe.
I think they're going to do pretty good. And then you throw in the fact that the Seahawks can also put points up on the board as well. That tells me over. So, yeah, I got Falcons over. And that is definitely one of the picks of the week that I would definitely feel very confident on.
Yeah, so I agree with you a lot in this game. I took the Falcons to win, the Falcons to cover. Like, just hands down, the way that the Seahawks are beat up, just like you said, the way that Kirk Cousins and that offense has been thrown around, they've been shellacking some teams and putting up a lot of points. Shellacking. They also got a pretty darn good defense too. Are they good as Giants? Maybe not, but they are playing at home. I think they have enough to stop the Seahawks a little bit, and I think it's going to be kind of a close game, but it's going to be in the under. And I think that the defense for Atlanta could stop the Eugene Smiths out there.
Who's that? Gino.
Gino.
Such a New York name. It's almost a shame he didn't work out the Jets or the Giants. Right. Next up, we got the Titans at the Bill. Oh yes, remember the Titans. And of course,
the Titans recently.
And of course, this is the new look Bills that just traded this week for Amari Cooper for a magic bean. I think that's what they got
pretty much.
You know what the scary thing is you look at that trade, you go, okay, they got what for Amari Cooper? A 3rd round pick and a 7th pick, but they're sending back a 6th pick. And you go, okay, that's really bad. But you think about it, a couple years ago, they got him for a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
It is a 1,000-yard receiver for a couple of years. It's like, yeah, maybe the return is not that bad after all.
Don't forget about the magic beanstalk.
The magic bean, that's going to make the whole difference there. Yeah. But yeah, the Bills are favored by 9.5 points. That is the biggest spread this week. And then the over-under is 41, which, think about that for a second. The largest spread this entire week, okay? And it is the 4th smallest over-under. They're expecting a bloodbath. Rob, what are you thinking for this bloodbath?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bloodbath, hands down. I agree with Vegas on this one. I'm taking the Bills to win. I'm actually taking the Bills to cover. And all I did last week was talk about 5.5 points. Go with the under with 5.5 points. But this game, you just got to go favor the Bills. Like, yes, the Bills have not looked at, like, they've been wishy-washy. They got a shiny brand new toy against a defense that has not played good. And they're playing against an offense that has been a meme for the past 6 weeks. A new meme every week with their quarterback. Yes. So I think it's going to be a bloodbath. And I took the over because the Bills have also proven that they could put up 40 points by themselves. And they also have a tendency not to let off on the gas. So I think this is a game where it could be a 30-6 at halftime.
You and I are not birds of a feather with this one. I think it's going to take a week or so for the Bills to get a little, stuff going there with Cooper and Allen at that point. I think by the end, I'm going to say this, by the end of this adjustment period where they get a little bit used to each other, get used to how they throw it together and stuff like that, used to knowing, okay, Cooper, when he does this move, he's going to turn this way. Like there's nuances that have to get learned when a quarterback and a wide receiver play together. It's not like the Jets' new wide receiver we'll talk about later. But once they get that down, I think that Amari Cooper is going to be better than Stephon Diggs was for this team.
I think you're right.
He's not going to be the headache that Diggs was. He's actually a couple of years younger. I think 1 or 2 years younger, not crazy amount. 1 or 2 years younger than Diggs is. I think this is a really good pickup for the Bills, who can now get a less selfish player in there that has similar skill level, and they didn't give up much to get him, and they're not paying him anything, by the way, either. As they've paid vet minimum to him, the Browns are picking up the rest of the tab just because of the way the extension worked this offseason. But yeah, I think that this is one of those games that you give it a little bit for this team to kind of figure it out. So I got the Bills still to win, but I think the Titans will cover that spread, and I got the under on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think the Titans will be in any point to actually win the game. Like, they'll probably lose by like 7 points or so still. Like, they'll still be down by a touchdown. But yeah, well, I mean, they could lose by 8, get a 2-point conversion. But I'm just saying, like, it's going to be close to it. But that's just such a big spread. I can't ignore that. So especially when it's that low of an over under, I can't ignore that. That's just too much. That's just like, I feel like they're like Vegas is trying to do something with this. They're begging you to take one of these bets, and I don't know which one. So I wouldn't take this bet either way, shape, or form.
Oh, I have memorized by it, and I hook, line, and sinker. Vegas got me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like there's something weird about that. It's a weird combo.
Listen, I think you talk about, and you're right with what you're saying about Allen and Cooper. It's going to take them a while to get on pace of how they're actually going to play out their schematics. But remember, as a kid, when you threw to one of your buddies, all you do is play street ball. Hey, do this, make a left here, and you're good. That's what's going to happen this week, and you're going to see a lot of big plays off of quick snaps.
I had no friends.
Oh, well, it sucks to be you. I had a fast ride and went, hey, Steve, you go up, you make a left, and go straight. I'm going to throw it right down the I actually just watched Baseballs earlier.
My sorrow. By the way, talking about kids and playing football, do you realize this is the 30th anniversary of Little Giants?
Oh.
Yeah. I feel old now.
Yeah.
I feel old.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I had to bring it up real quick. Anyway.
Next up, you got the Bengals.
The Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, the Ohio battle. You got Bengals going into the Browns. They're going into Cleveland for the Super Bowl.
Let's put it this way: if Ohio was to be a prize, nobody would want to win.
No. Now, am I reading this right?
What are you gonna give up on this? Is like you got the two biggest ones. You got what are you gonna do? Like whoever wins this gets Dayton, Ohio. Like what's the rule? Like
yes. And then, am I reading this right? Are the Browns favored by 5.5 points in this?
You are definitely, according to what I wrote, reading it right. But I don't trust that. I think that might.
Yeah, I think we should check that.
I will take a look. Why don't you talk about what your thoughts are on the game?
The over-under in this game is 41.5 points. I think the Browns are they've proven themselves not to be the same team of last year, especially the last half. I think as long as you start Deshaun Watson, your team is going to look like they're going to the Super Bowl because he's been playing god-awful. The players around him are not respecting him, and he's giving up on plays. He's made it quite obvious, and he's not hiding it. And
so I picked you by the way.
Okay, so the Bengals are favored by 5.5.
Bengals are favored by 5.5. Exactly.
Makes a lot more sense.
As I'm hitting more things with my chairs and knocking more stuff down behind me.
But it doesn't matter on my picks because I'm taking the Bengals to win this game. I've been saying it for 6 weeks of football. They start off the season slow. They start off really slow. And they're going to come in and play a division rival, and they're going to play probably some pretty good football against a team that can't put up points. And their defense has been lackluster. And their star player, Nick Chubb, is doing a lot better, but is also not playing. Although, did you see that he's lifting at the high school where he started playing football?
No, I didn't see. Honestly, I've been watching the Nick Chubb thing.
So he's working out.
A picture of his injury. It grosses me out.
Well, he's been working out. He was squatting like 610 pounds at the high school. At the high school that he grew up, that he went to school at. So he's like, I'm not big at personal trainers, and I'm not big at going to these big clubs. I just want to go back where it all started. And
that just tells me one thing: he's saving his money in case this doesn't work out.
Probably, but there's also a video of him squatting like 610 pounds, and a whole bunch of high school kids around him spotting him.
Oh my god!
But
he's literally bench pressing high school kids.
The bar's like
right after lunch.
right down his
sloppy
back.
Joes and those Elio's pizzas.
Yeah. Lady, you're scaring us. Sloppy Joes. I know how you like them
Extra
sloppy.
sloppy.
But
This was always the
listen,
pizza. They gave us the Elio style pizza.
yeah,
We'd always get excited by it. I don't know why. Like, ooh, it's pizza. Ooh, bad pizza. That was Jersey.
yeah,
Like we should have higher expectations.
yeah. Or we started doing Domino's, I think, when we were in high school too, which is, and
So
we're like
I'm
Beer
gonna
Street,
age
where I
myself.
went to school, was right next to, was it Giuseppe's, whatever the pizzeria was right over there. Fantastic pizza.
I'm gonna age myself. So at one point in middle school, they were doing a thing in McDonald's called Hamburger Buddies. And you know, like you go in a pack of hamburgers buns, and like they're like stuck together to separate them.
Yeah.
So basically, it was two little hamburgers with two buns that are stuck to each other. They called it Hamburger Buddies, and they
Oh,
actually did that for a little while in middle school because that's when they were popular, like for a
yeah.
year. So as I age myself, people are like Hamburger Buddies. What is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
It was a thing,
Yeah.
guys. Look it up. Hamburger
I don't
Buddies.
know. I think you're lying. Anyway, I'm thinking the Bengals to win this game. That's actually 11-point swing that you just put, saying that the Bengals are favored. I'm still going to take the Bengals to win this game, and I'm going to take them in that spread still. And I'm taking the over in this game because the Bengals have proven that they can put up points. The Giants have put them to the least amount of points on here. It is a divisional game. The Bengals don't have the best defense, so I do think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout, but it's going to be a blowout in the shootout, if that makes sense. I think it's going to be like 27 to like 21. There you go. It's 48 points over.
I have some very important news to share. And the news is the fact that it actually wasn't McDonald's. It was Burger King, apparently. Burger King, hamburger.
I can take you anywhere.
Buddies. I looked it up. I found it. It's there. For some reason, my computer will not allow me to share the picture of it here. So I'm gonna just do this real quick here. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Open. Here we go. We're gonna do it this way. We're going for it. We're going for it because I feel like people are gonna think that I'm crazy, and I am. Don't get me wrong. But Hamburger Buddies was an actual thing. There it is. There it is. Hamburger Buddies. See, they're like two buns put together, basically. That's all they were. It's the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why it became popular for a little while. Anyways, we get back to the news here. So I'm sorry. I was looking at my burgers. What was your picks for this game again?
Bengals, and the over.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to make it very simple for you, and I'm going to say I agree with you wholeheartedly, except the under, because I think the Browns will not do enough at that point to get the over. They can't score with crap, and they just lost to Amari Cooper. Like, that's not good.
No, but they also the Bengals themselves put up 38 points against. Yeah,
the Browns have a good defense, though.
Do they?
Yes, the Browns have a good defense.
Do they?
I said yes multiple times now.
I know, but are they?
Yes, they are. Their offense is what sucks because they have the massage artist there as the quarterback. They're like us. They're like a quarterback away. Well, they were a quarterback away before they started the fire sale and get rid of Amari Cooper for nothing. But yeah, that's where they're at.
The Browns' defense is ranked 15 amongst defenses.
That's still average. That's still good.
That's average.
Average is good.
That's good.
I'm a Giants fan. I have tempered expectations. Lowered expectations. Mad. Anyway, next up, we got the Texans at the Packers. And that should be a fun matchup, guys. This is definitely one I would go nowhere near. I wouldn't put a quarter on it. That's how much. I would not put any kind of shiny quarter onto this game. Point blank. It's a shiny quarter. This is not like my pick of the week where I'm just going like, hello. Hello. But I am sitting here and saying that I would bet the Packers to win this game It's a 2.5 point favor for the Packers here, and that's not enough to scare me or change my opinion on the game because 2.5 points. So I'm gonna go Packers, and I'm gonna go under on the points because it's 47.5. Just because I think the Texans defense is gonna do enough just to keep it somewhat close, and the Texans they've been kind of hit or miss sometimes as far as how much points they're scoring. They'll score like 20 points one week. They'll score like 30 points the next week. You have no clue what they're going to do. And I think the Packers defense is also good enough to help, stymie them a little bit there. So you got two good defenses. I can't go the over when the over's that high. So I got Packers under.
Oh, I mean, I do agree with you a lot here because I'm taking the Packers to win. I'm also taking the Packers to cover. I mean, the 2.5 points don't scare me either. But I'm taking the over in this game because they do have good defenses, but their offenses are way better, I believe. And, I mean, you're talking about your quarterback play is way better than the defense play you got here. So I'm going to take these defenses to throw the rock around quite a bit. And it's going to be like there you go. It's an Eagle. Good old Eagles.
That's a state quarter.
Oh, is it? All right. I can't see. It's blurry.
Yeah, this is Cumberland, Ireland. Okay, I mean Cumberland Island, not Ireland.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
What state is Ireland? Like, very little sleep after a very, very long, stressful day at work here, guys.
Yeah.
I don't hide it. I call it like it is.
So let's go right into the next game.
Next.
So we got the Dolphins going into Indianapolis playing the Colts.
Now, here's the question. Are they playing on land or water? Because that's very important which animal I would pick to win this.
Oh, I mean, it's Indianapolis, so you're talking about the playing on land.
Okay. It tells you my pick.
And the over-under is 43.5 points in this game. Senior Drew, tell us about the trifecta.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're in agreement on this one here. So, yeah, Colts are clearly the better team. Dolphins, who would have thought the Dolphins at this point of the season would have the worst offense in the entire NFL scoring-wise?
Well, when your starting quarterback has, scrambled eggs for brains.
You still have the cheetah and the penguin. You still got A-Chain. You still have Mostert. You still have what was the most dynamic offense in all of football last year.
It was a fantastic offense last year, but you also lost key players last year. You lost key players on your offensive line, and you have no decent quarterback play going on right now.
No.
So they're in between who their second and third string is and who's going to start over Tua. Although apparently Tua is going to come back later this year, but they're taking his time because that poor guy
back to the IR later this year, probably. Yeah, to be honest.
He reminds me of Ace Ventura in the first movie when he goes to the psych ward.
Because of the Dolphins?
Because of the Dolphins, and also because he was talking like all crazy wearing what's it, a tutu for Tua.
Snowflake. That's Snowflake.
Yeah. Snowflake.
Anyway, yeah, the Colts are not a dynamic offense by any shape of the imagination, but they can put up some points. With the Dolphins, can't put up any points. So therefore, simply enough for me, Colts to cover the 3-point spread at that point, and under on the points.
Yep, I agree with you wholeheartedly here because
whoop whoop.
Because the defense is the Colts defense is the best side of football of any part of the team, and let's face it, the Dolphins don't have a good defense. And their offense is inept right now without their starting quarterback. And it stinks because you got a lot of talent, but without your leader, behind the rock, behind center,
follow the leader. Hey.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure Flacco is going to start for
Wacko Flacco.
Wacko Flacco, who's
it don't matter. Either quarterback they got is better.
Yep, 100%. So up next, we got the line. Actually, it's Europe. Sorry, I'm about to go right into it.
Wow.
I know. I'm just getting excited. It's going right for it.
Jeez. Anyway, Rob so rudely interrupted me. This is probably another one, and I'm going to put right there with the Texans and Packers as one of the most fun games to potentially watch this week here. It's a divisional matchup. It's two really good teams. which just sounds weird. I still find these two teams being called good weird. But
Yeah.
you also got these are the matchups that could very well decide the division. You got the Lions going to Minnesota to face the Vikings.
Oh, don't you
And
know?
yeah, this is like I said, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Again, divisional rival too. On top of that, which are always close. So there's only a 1.5 point spread there favoring the Vikings. They're giving up 1.5. And then you got a over under at 50.5. 50.5, guys. I gotta tell you, and this is not just to make Rob look foolish because he's going after me and I know what he's gonna say. This over under is the part that's weirds me out the most in this entire thing. The Vikings have been, weirdly enough, like one of the top defenses in the league right now, guys. The Lions still have some things to work out in defense, but it's not the worst defense in the world. 50 points is a pretty high over under. That's the biggest shocker for me in that. But I'm going to go with the Vikings to win. As much as I'm torn in this game and I wouldn't put money on it.
No.
Because I don't know what it is. I cannot buy into the Vikings still. I can't. And it's probably Sam Darnold is the reason why. But I can't buy into them yet. But when I'm talking about putting my potentially my money and my reputation on the line like that, I'm going to tell you that they're playing better right now. And therefore, the Vikings should win. The Vikings should cover. And the under, because again, that over under to me is absolutely ridiculous.
And we are complete opposites on this. So
We
this
are.
is going to make or break me
Like those
and my comeback.
cousins in Perfect Strangers.
Yes.
I could be Balky the sheep herder.
But it is a divisional game. They are going to Minnesota, which does scare me. I can't buy into the Vikings quite yet either.
I'm telling you, it's
we're
like
also talking about the Lions in the divisional game, who
without Aiden Hutchinson, by the way.
Correct.
Forget that gruesome leg injury he had last year where he got Joe Theismann, Alex Smith, Nick Gates. It was bad. It was bad. That was like somebody broke a popsicle stick right in front of your eyes, but there was a leg attached.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm taking the Lions to win this game. And yeah, obviously I'm going to take them to cover. And I'm taking it over in this game because, yes, the Vikings defense has been playing very well. But when these guys play each other, it tends to be like one of those like mid-20 games, which is right around that ballpark of that 50 points. And I think it's going to be more of a shootout, probably some OT in this game. And yeah, I won't bet this game personally, but I'm going to be sure to watch this game when we podcast.
I remember my mid-20s. Those were fun times. Anyway.
Good times. Anyway, let's talk about our game real fast. And if you guys really want to know about
game of the week that nobody wants to watch except for Giants fans and Eagles fans.
Exactly. If you really want to know what we're going to say about it, I want you to tune into our clip that we filmed last night, or the audio. But let's talk about the Eagles coming into MetLife, the return of Shaq in MetLife, who's apparently not going to get
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. The Giants are giving up 3 in this game.
We bet on what decibel the boos are at for Saquon.
Right?
And again, I don't even blame him. I just find it funny because he publicly came out and said, I don't think I'm going to get booed. And I'm telling you right now, because he said that,
he's going to get booed even harder.
So hard, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders if he's really just messing with the fans when he says that.
It could be.
Like I wouldn't put it. This is the same guy who they published a video of his daughter saying, "Oh, we're going to the Eagles. Does this mean we can win now?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's your daughter. You allowed the audio come out. Like you have to. You're the parent. They can't just release it without your approval.
Yeah.
He's trolling us.
100%. The over-under is 43 points in this game. And Drew, tell me your bad news.
Tell me how you go first. I did it last.
Oh, fine. Yes, dear. I'm going to take the Giants to win this game because
I'm not going to take your turn like some people do to me.
Well, actually, since I announced it, you were supposed to go, but that's fine. You gave it up. But I'm going to take the Giants to win this game with the news of Malik Neighbors coming back. Gives us some hope. I do think that the Eagles are still not quite right. Granted, they're coming off the bye. They got their receivers back. They're going to run the ball on us, but I think it's going to be a closer game, and I don't think we're going to get skunked. So I think the Giants have the potential to win this game. Obviously, I think they're going to cover because they're going to win, and I'm going to take it in the under because I think the Giants
You're going to
defense.
take it in the under? What?
Ooh, he's saucy over there.
That's what you just said. That's what you just said.
I'm going to take the under. Jerk. Tell me how you're going to take it in the under.
I'm not taking it in the under. I'm going to take the under of this game, though, like you. But I'm very similar to you, except the fact that I do think the Eagles are going to win. Again, I think the fact that this team can run, they do run, and the Giants have trouble stopping the run is going to be the big deciding factor here in this game. We'll see if I'm right on that. So, Giants, Eagles, Giants, because I got the Giants covering the spread on this thing and under. So we're 2 out of 3 together at that point. Let's get to the battle of the R's. The Raiders versus the Rams. And exactly one team says R on top of that. So many R's. Yeah. We got the the Rams are 6.5-point favorites, one of the larger spreads this week. The over-under is 43.5. Now, we talked about the fact the Rams have had a lot of injuries in their wide receiver group there. We talked about the fact that Matt Stafford hasn't had the best offensive line to work with either at that point. The Raiders are basically just a cluster on offense basically right now. So this is what happens when you keep drafting tight ends in the first round. But
who's been playing well this year?
This one has.
Yeah.
It's like a broken clock.
Brock
Eventually
Bowers.
bound to get one.
Yeah, Brock Bowers has been playing good football.
Yeah, well, he was a once in a lifetime kind of prospect, they said basically. I hadn't seen that much hype for a tight end until, Kyle Pitts. Didn't work out very well for Atlanta, but they never had a quarterback either. Yeah. Anyway, I got the Rams to win this because I still think they're the better team. I don't trust them to put enough points up to beat the spread. So I do have the Raiders for the spread part there. And I got the under because, again, you got a bad offense and an injured offense. That makes it difficult to put points on the board. So Rams, Raiders, under.
I agree with you 100% in this game. The Rams are playing at home. Granted, doesn't mean that much, in the modern NFL for a lot of teams.
The Rams, there's they
have the better quarterback play. They got the better quarterback.
Legit.
Yeah, they got.
You know what I wonder? Sorry, but I got to ask this question. I'm curious your thought on the whole thing. For years and years, the Raiders played in Los Angeles. Do you think that it's potential that there's more Raiders fans in LA than there are Rams fans?
There's
this
definitely
be a home game actually for the Raiders. I just thought of that. I had to put it out there.
Yeah. Well, there's also Raiders fans all over the United States. They're one of those crazy teams.
Pirate.
Yeah, I was about to say they like dressing up as silver Darth Vader. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm taking the Rams to win, the Raiders to cover because 6.5 is too rich for my blood. Because, like you said, it's a damaged offense and an inept offense playing each other. And I'm taking the under. So up next, talk about inept offenses. You got the Panthers going into playing.
Wow. The Panthers have a better offense than either the Raiders or the Rams right now.
I would dispute the Rams, but
I would not because of the injuries. If they were fully healthy, I would not. I would agree with you.
Well, they put up 19 last week. That's more than the Panthers put up.
I think the Panthers put up 25. Don't maybe look it up. I will do it.
I think overall through the season, the Rams have more points than the Panthers. So let's go with that there. Anyway,
Panthers had 20 last week, 10 the week before, then 24, 36 points, which is more than the Giants have scored. I'm just saying they're not that bad as an offense as you're thinking, I think. You know what it is? You're still thinking of the Bryce Young Panthers. That's what this is the
Dalton
Andy Dalton Red Ryder BB gun offense
Yeah.
now.
You'll shoot your eye out.
And they
Commanders are favored by 8 in this game.
did.
And the over-under is the biggest of the week at 51.5 points.
How crazy
Drew,
is that?
tell me your thoughts.
My thoughts are I feel like I don't trust Vegas with this one either. This is kind of similar to the issues with the Titans and the Bills, except you're expecting a lot of points. So you're expecting an absolute blowout, and you got a rookie quarterback. It's always a little scary, but I'm still going to go with Commanders. Commanders again. And I'm going to go with the over. I do think this is going to be that kind of high scoring game. I really do. I think this is going to be like a 24 to like trying to think, maybe like a
35.
yeah, like that kind of game. Like it's going to be that high. Like yeah, this is going to be higher than the ending of a Cheech and Chong movie. It's going to happen, I think. This is the one it happens with.
Well, I agree with you for the most part because I'm taking the Commanders to win this game. I'm taking them to blow out the Panthers, but I don't think the Panthers offense are going to put enough points on the board to get over that over. And I'm taking the Commanders and the under.
All righty. Yeah. I'll win again then. Next up,
we shall see.
Chiefs at the 49ers. Oh, yes, the Chiefs at the 49ers, which on paper is a much better matchup until you actually look at the roster. So what's left for the Niners?
Yeah.
Not the same without CMC, that's for sure. But Chiefs the 49ers are actually listed as a 1.5 point favorite because it's the home game for them. Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. And with a 47 point over under, I'm going under. Something tells me it's going to be a little more of a defensive battle than people think.
Maybe. But I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover as well. But I took the over in this game because I think that the Chiefs are going to come out early on and the Niners are going to play catch-up football. They're going to have to play quick football, throw the ball down. And you're just going to try to run the ball, slow the clock down, play what the Chiefs have been doing the past couple of years. And they're going to go back and forth across the field. And defense is going to show up. You might have a couple defensive touchdowns here, but I think it's going to make the over in this game. 47 with these two teams that could put up a lot of points. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, that's one bet I wouldn't take the over under this game. I'm pretty confident the Chiefs winning it, but the over under part, no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go near it at all. All right, next up.
All right. Up next, Sunday Night Football. Sunday night. You got the Jets going into Steel City playing the Steelers. The Jets are 2-point favorites in this game. And the over-under is 38.5 points. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game. I'm going to take the Jets to win this game. They got a shiny new toy. They're going to bring them out in the sandbox. And it's not like we were talking about before with Amari Cooper going over with Josh Allen. You already had Devontae Adams having a rapport with Aaron Rodgers. So they kind of know how each other's tempos are and how they play. So they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out hot. And I think they're also going to run the crap out of this ball with Bryce Young. And I do think it's going to be a little bit more of a blood. Steelers are supposed to be starting Russell Wilson in this game.
Yeah.
Over Justin Fields, who's been playing a lot better. So, which means their offense, So, which means the Steelers offense is probably going to be pretty inept. So, Jets are going to win in a pretty much a blowout, and I'm going to say they're going to go with the over.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is the fact that if you want to attack the Steelers' defense, their corners are their 1 weak spot. You're going to have Devontae Adams in this game, I assume, the newly acquired Devontae Adams back with Aaron Rodgers now in the Jets. And Garrett Wilson being a number 2 receiver.
That's crazy.
A difficult duo to beat at that point. But I will say that I think that the Jets are still not good. I don't think Devontae Adams fixes the problems going on in New York. But I think for this 1 week, Rodgers is happy. The Steelers are going through a quarterback change. They're letting things ride. And I think I'm with you at the Jets and the Jets, but I got the under. I don't think there'll be a ton of points here. I think this is going to be like a 10-17 kind of game at that point there. I think it's going to be that kind of a low-scoring, close game. But I think because of the duo they have a wide receiver, they'll do just enough points-wise to win the game.
All right.
Last up, Monday night. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
Monday night.
So you got the Ravens coming into Tampa, playing the Buccaneers, not to be confused with the Buckaroos. And guys, this is a much better matchup at this point than I think you probably expected going into the season. The Ravens have been kind of a mixed results and not really full at going to their regular potential. The Buccaneers have been playing, I think, better than most people expected. So you got a pretty close matchup here. I'm going to say I'm hedging my bets here a little bit. I think the Ravens will squeak out a victory. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers in just 3.5 points to say they lose by just a field goal. And the 49.5 points, I'm going to go the under. This is two decent defenses. I say that because the Ravens are still trying to figure their defense out. So they lost McDonald there to the Seahawks head coaching job. But there's still talent on that defense. And the Buccaneers definitely have talent on their defense. So I'm going to go Ravens, Bucks, under.
All right. What the buck? Because I'm taking the Ravens to win. I think they're going to cover that spread as well. And I took the over because both these defenses are decent, but both these offenses are playing really good football. They both can put up a lot of points. I mean, I don't think the Bucs are going to put up 51 points against the Ravens, but no. I do think they're going to put up enough, and they're going to go back and forth, and it's going to be more of a shootout. So I'm taking Ravens in the over.
All righty, guys.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.